I wanted the money.
I know you wanted the money.
Period.
You wanted the money right away, but she didn't give you it.
Yes, I did, but them two women got together, you know, and they're talking like they did, and I kind of like sat back, which I shouldn't have.
I know the feeling.
And this is what happened.
But what was the agreement?
The agreement was $800.
But when were you going to get paid the $800?
I thought it was going to be into 2 weeks after the police took it out of the driveway, had her take it out of our driveway.
She walked.
So she walked right up our driveway and says, "I'll have your money in 2 weeks."
What about this?
And then
Ma'am,
she left.
not yet. Be quiet, okay?
And then that was the end of it. And she took the car back, and she'd been parading around in it and driving it everywhere she wants, and not even turning down our way. Oh, avoiding us like we have the plague. I can't believe this. $25 a week even, but I don't want that no more. I want my car back.
Or the money.
Or the money.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What about this bit about you being paid when her Suburban was sold?
She told us that was going to happen, yes. And she got paid $500 through the insurance company because it was a total. And she had it bumped out by the neighbor across the street to where she could drive it. And then she heard that she could get a couple extra $100 for a trailer hitch that's on the back, so she tried to sell it for $700. $700, and the insurance company wouldn't even give her that much.
Ma'am,
That's why she still had it until yesterday.
Ma'am, your boyfriend here says that you're the one that made the deal. He just was sort of sitting on the sidelines watching while you and Ms. Gaddy negotiated this. I'll ask you, what was the agreement about when you were going to get paid the other $400?
The agreement was after she sold it. This was 2 times she was supposed to had sold it. Came to our house. It's a for sure thing. It's a for sure thing. So we agreed with that. After the 3rd time she came back to our house and said she had it sold, which it never sold.
The Suburban, you mean, right?
Yes, the Suburban, which it never sold. I started saying, well, Carol, do the best you can. Start doing what you should do. I go start making payments. Because I knew this wasn't going to sell for no $700 after 3 or 4 people denied.
But what was the agreement? Was there an agreement that you were going to get paid the $400? No, listen to me. Listen. Do not talk. Okay. Listen. Was the agreement that you were going to get paid the other $400 when the Suburban was sold, or after it was going to be sold, or when?
When it was going to be
when
sold.
When it was sold. All right. Last chance, Ms. Gaddy. Is there anything else you want to say?
I haven't been on Neighborly because the only reason why I don't go by there is because I got tired of being called names, constantly, so I quit going. My lawyer told me to quit going by that way.
You're driving the car now?
Yes, I have to drive it back and forth.
Does it run? Does it work?
It leaks a lot of oil,
It's an old car. It's got a lot of miles on it, doesn't it? How many miles does it have, do you know?
100 and something.
100 and something? Well, I guess if you buy a car that's got that many miles on it, you would expect it to have some problems. That's why I only paid $800 for
Well,
it,
he
too.
told me he'd fix the doors, he'd fix the fan, and,
All right, last chance, Mr. Mayor. We're going to wrap this up.
As far as the oil leak, I told her about the oil leak. I said I couldn't find it, so good luck, And I also told her that as long as you're driving down the road, it doesn't use oil. I don't know where the oil, when it stops, it leaks.
As long as you're driving down the road.
As long as it's going, I took it all the way up to the Upper Peninsula and back and never lost a drop of oil. So I don't understand the car, And
Neither
the
do I,
doors,
sir.
well, I told
Neither
her
do
the
I.
doors had to have new door pins put in it. That's what I told her. It needed new door pins. It's a 2-door. They're heavy doors.
No writing, no writing, no writing. The defendant is saying, well, she's going to pay when she sells her car. The car is old. I don't see any defenses here. Let's see what the judge says.
All right, look. When you have an agreement, and I've said this many times before, and I'll say it again because it's important, you have to have the agreement in writing, okay, to make it easier to resolve a dispute later on. And that's the benefit of having something in writing is you know what the agreement is, and both sides are forced to think about it. They're forced to write down what the agreement is, so both sides know exactly what's supposed to be done. When you don't do that, and that's what happened in this case, and you come to court, there are problems. Because now you want me, essentially, to figure out what you two agreed to, and that's hard for me to do. I wasn't there. And I've got 2 different stories about what the payment plan is going to be, and it makes it difficult. The only thing we know is that this car was going to be sold for $800. That we agree on. We also agree and we know that the plaintiff, Mr. Mayer, got paid $400. We know that the defendant still has the car and is driving the car, and maybe it leaks some oil or not. Maybe it doesn't leak oil as long as she's driving it, but be that as it may, she's got the car and she's using it. The dispute has to do with when that other $400 was to be paid, and there's some testimony from the plaintiffs that it was supposed to be paid when the Suburban was sold. There's some testimony that it was supposed to be paid only if the Suburban was sold, and maybe if Ms. Gaddy got enough money out of that sale to pay the $400, and if not, there would be some payment agreement, but we don't know what the agreement was. I can't get into any of that. That's too much for me to figure out without me being there. So what I have to do is keep it simple, which means you owe them the $400, or you owe technically Mr. Mayer the $400 because he's the plaintiff. Maybe you had some other agreement. I don't know. But if it's not in writing, I can't enforce that. All I can enforce is what's been said here between the two of you, which was a car to be sold for $800, $400 has been paid, and you owe the other $400. You got to pay that. I'm going to enter a judgment in favor of the plaintiff for $400. The court will add to that cost, consisting of a $25 filing fee and a $23 service fee, bringing the total amount of the judgment to $448. Mr. Mayor, I think these are your documents. I'll return those to you. Ma'am, you got to pay them.
Can I make payments?
We went through.
Well, I filed bankruptcy.
Ma'am, it doesn't matter that you file.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you filed bankruptcy. You can make payments if Mr. Mayor wants to accept payments. If he doesn't want to accept payments, no. You owe it now.
I want it now.
All right. We're all done.
Thank you.
She's got the car, she owes the money, pay it! That's pretty simple. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we come back, the case of if it ain't broke, don't break it.
Sun exposure starting in childhood is a major cause of skin cancer. That's why you should apply a high SPF sunscreen and keep your kids covered up whenever they're outside, not just at the beach or pool. Protect your children from the sun. They'll thank you for it someday.
Welcome back to Case Closed. I'm Charlie Langton. Next case, if it ain't broke, don't break it.
All right. This is your case. Ma'am, why don't you tell me why you're here?
Okay, the reason why I'm here, on May the 12th, I took my vehicle to Valvoline for just
To where?
the oil. Valvoline for just the oil change.
To Valvoline.
Right. So when I took it in, I had an oil change, and the person there asked me, did I want a radiator flush?
Okay.
So I let her flush my radiator.
Not Mr.
Well,
Williams. That's
attempt
somebody
to.
else, right?
Right, one of the workers that worked there.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, and I guess when she took the hose off the radiator, it broke the post that the hose go on to the radiator.
Okay.
So I had to have the vehicle towed off the ramp to the place that I had my vehicle fixed, repaired. Then
Okay.
I had to get like a rent-a-car.
Okay.
And when I called the number on the receipt, the lady that answered the phone told me that it was a private owner.
Which number are you talking about?
There's a number on the receipt
Oh, from Valvoline.
for Valvoline, right?
Okay.
The 1877 number. When I called this number, the lady that answered the phone, she said that it was a private person that owned this company and gave me the number to call him.
That's Mr. Williams.
Right, that's Mr. Williams.
All right. Now, when you drove this car in to have an oil change, and they broke the post on the radiator, or the worker did, I mean, how'd you find out? Did they call you, or what?
No, she brought it to the window. I was still sitting in the car, and it was in her the piece that was broken off was in her hand.
Oh, I see.
So the mechanic attempted to look at it to see was it broke to the point where the radiator fluid ran out of the hose. So he attempted to check that out, and it just poured out on the ground.
It's
So I
leaked
had to
out
have
all
it
over the
towed.
place.
Yes.
So you had the vehicle towed from there.